we were talking about our zodiac signs, and one of the definitions of, or one of the characteristics of my zodiac
Mm-hmm.
was um, crybaby.
Mm.
And she was like, "Oh yeah, that's true."
Oh man.
And I was like, "Dang, like that
Mm.
really hurt me," you know? Like I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I never expected my own best friend to say,
Ooh.
"Yeah, you're a crybaby," you know? Um, and I had to fight myself with about that for a while. Like,
Yeah.
you're not a crybaby, but if she doesn't want to hear what you have to say,
Mm-hmm.
that's how she's gonna take it. Is that you're just being a crybaby about it,
Absolutely.
or because I have been strong so much in my life that
Mm.
sometimes little things do like break me down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been so strong dealing with all this crap. Like,
Yep.
I, I just want to cry for a second.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
cry for a second. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean I'm a crybaby. It just
Yeah.
means I need to let my emotions out sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it's taken some years to even still like teach myself, even after writing that, like
Mm.
listen to those words. Like
Yeah.
those words mean something. Like take that in and accept it.
Mm. Man. Like I said, man, y'all just leave me in this trance state. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna read now. Let's go in this circle because I can stay all day on this topic. But I know there's more to come. So let me start. But thank you, Elena, for sharing that. And Isaac, thank you for your feedback, man. That absolutely amazing. Um, okay, let me see, man. Y'all are already, man. We just started. Come on, guys. um. Oh wow, this is a good one. The title of this is called "Get Out of My Head." Get out of my head, I said. Get out of my head. The past, the past. It's a new thread. No time for dread. So please, get out of my head. This, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, this was a poem I think I wrote when it must have been a day or a night where I just had thoughts running. Like oftentimes I'm in the, I'll lay in the bed or just lay in the bed in the dark, like, lights are cut off and things of that nature. And sometimes old thoughts can just creep into your head, man. There's, old trade thoughts, things that I've done in the past or things I've said to people or things I've listened to or heard. Just different things can creep up in your head. And one thing I've learned is if you don't control your thoughts, they'll control you. They'll control you, like they'll truly control you because what you think at the end of the day, you'll eventually kind of act out because you're constantly meditating on that thing. So I think I wrote that poem when I kind of just had enough of those thoughts. They were running, thoughts were running, but then at the end of the day, I kind of, you know, poetry in a sense allows you to take control. So
Yeah.
me grabbing my phone and typing the poem into the notes app, it was that form of control. It was like, yeah, nah, get out of my head. The title of the poem is like, nah, get out of my head. This is, the old things are past. These are past threads. There are new threads now that I'm starting to make in my life and things of that nature. And so it was in a sense grabbing hold of my thoughts and then allowing them to come under subjection of me having control of them. So yeah, that was deep, man. Y'all got me. Whew. Look, trying to explain the poem is harder than reading it. It's like, look, because you get choked up. It's like, dang, I remember that.
I like that though because I can relate to that because I deal with anxiety, and oftentimes that's what anxiety is. It's just constant thoughts, intrusive thoughts in your head that you know. So when you read that, I was like, dang, like that hit home for me because that oftentimes I'll find myself just like get out of my head.
Mm,
So I feel it. I feel it.
man, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Isaac, man, if you have anything.
Yeah, the more you try to ignore those invasive thoughts, the
Mm-hmm.
stronger they become. And
Yep.
I know I spent a long time trying to avoid the bad thoughts, the dark thoughts, the
Mm-hmm.
trying to ignore those thoughts while staying in control of my mind, and it didn't work out very well. So I know very well about mind over matter and all that kind of stuff.
Mm. Yeah. I love what you said too. If you try to ignore it, the more you try to ignore it, the more it'll remind you of how you can't. I love that, man. I love it. Thank you. Thank you both. Isaac, man, you have the floor.
Okay, so this is what I was going to do originally. I decided to do palindrome because you asked for two of them. So
Mm-hmm.
this one is, I remember correctly, the last poem in my first book.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow.
this one I think sort of allows a bridge into the next book that I plan on writing.
Mm.
Uh, so I don't know how much you guys know about narcissistic personality disorder and whatnot.
Mm.
But one of their tactics to get you addicted to them is a push and pull tactic.
Mm.
What they do is they push you away, and then as soon as you're like, okay, well, I'm done, and they start pulling you back in. Oh no, I was just joking. I was just joking. Get away from me. No, I was just joking. That they confuse you with that, and if
Wow.
you're really susceptible to it or really young, in my case,
Mm.
you tend to just go, oh well, everything's better. Whatever happened, and we can just let it
Mm.
go in the past. And we forget about the past, and then it happens again. But they don't want you to think about the past and what they've done. They just want you to believe what they're telling you.
Mm. Wow. You got me thinking about some relationships now. Like, oh, okay, but
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
continue. Sorry.
So, with Elena's poem where she hit close to home, this might hit close to home in some ways too. So just be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is I think the story doesn't really bring my perspective in as much as it usually does.
Mm-hmm.
There are perspectives of other people that have uh, kind of gone through the same thing. I guess the easiest way to put it is I'm talking about uh, foster children in our home.
Mm.
They brought foster children in the home, and I'm watching from an outside perspective how this all has transpired and how I relate to it in my past.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just hope I didn't put her name in here anywhere, but whatever. Push and pull. She runs away to avoid getting disappointed. He runs his mouth and gets in trouble again. You push me away to no end, and just as I fall off, you pull me up and try to pull me in. How do you believe I will respond? My ideals have grown too fond. You think the bridges burned are over a pond? What you don't know is that you are wrong. The
Mm-hmm.
bridge that would be burned would go from here to Vietnam. I'm having flashbacks, and you are the cause. Roles reversed, you pull and I push you away. How else should I respond? 10 years of pain and discomfort, of being pushed away, slammed down and hit as the force of a cupboard. No second thought as to the noise that has plundered. Only grab what's on the inside. Emptied out. Now you want to restock? Bitch, you thought. As you reach out, I push off and you pull me back in fear. I don't have any bridges to mend. All I do is overthink, pretend, and defend. I fear for your safety. Now I must offend. Stoic am I. Poetry I want to dismember. I am not your son, nor your friend. I have to push down how I really feel. These wounds are deep. It isn't like anything else. Yet maybe this will finally die. We can move on to a new trend. My pain is but a distant memory as new people enter my life. I'm not two-wheeled yet, but four wheels I no longer like. As I learn to balance better, maybe I can stop riding this trike. Maybe one day soon I could have my very own bike. I can't be the person you fall onto. You pull me closer and I just push away. Astray? Who though? That's the question blundered. I hate to see what can still be mended. Yet if I say how I really feel, will you then become 6 feet under? Will I be the groundskeeper as you go into madness deeper? The mind plays games, yet all I speak is truth. We no longer have innocence, youth. I don't have any bridges to mend. All I do is overthink, pretend, and defend. I fear for your safety, now I must offend. Stoic am I, poetry I want to dismember. I am not your son, nor your friend. I have to push down how I really feel. These wounds are deep. It isn't like anything else. Yet maybe this will finally die. We can move on to a new trend. Will you be 6 feet under, or will you be 6 feet recovered?
I'm sorry, man. Yeah. Wow. Elena, yeah, you can take this one first. I'll let you take this one first.
That wow, that really did hit very close to home. Um, growing up, I was the only daughter in my family, out of 5 kids. So I had 4 brothers. And so a lot of the responsibility fell on me. And in turn, like I became like the mom figure, even to my mom. And so that hit close to home because like it there was just so much in there about, like masking your feelings because of, what you've been through. And that's a lot of what I had to do growing up, is mask my own feelings or my opinions, because everything was just put onto me. I didn't have a say in anything, and I didn't want it. And like now that I'm older, like I'm giving all that back. Like that's yours. That's your responsibility, not mine. I don't. So that really did hit me hard. That was really, really deep and amazing.
I guess for me, I guess going back to what you said first, Elena, I want to address that before I go back to the initial poem. Who would you say was like the narcissist in your like, I guess, in your story? If you can say, or if you want to say, if you don't feel like saying, then it's cool.
Me? It would be my father.
No, I'm sorry. I was asking Elena, but I'm coming back to you too. I'm coming back to you.
My bad.
No, you're good.
For me, it was my mom.
It was your mom. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that pushing and putting everything on you, like you said, you not having a say so, it was all about what she wanted and not how you felt.
Right.
Gotcha.
Like even my story, like what my trauma and what has happened to me, it was always her story to tell. How she wanted to tell it, who she wanted to tell it to,
Oh,
but
man.
then, but I couldn't because it was going to make me look bad.
Yeah.
So like I'm very, very, very familiar with the narcissistic, behaviors of others, and that so hearing that, like I just felt for you a lot, Isaac. I really did.
Every success was your mother's, and every failure was yours.
Yes.
And so it was the same for you, Isaac. The narcissistic. Okay, your mother was the narcissistic person.
My father was the narcissist.
Wow.
My mother was the enabler. Her play in this whole thing is much deeper than I really ever thought possible until my last interaction with her. So,
wow. Have you both? And I'm not sure if I asked this for both of you, but have you both told the people that were the narcissist? Have y'all spoken with them and in a sense expressed how you felt that they were actually a narcissist or they had those tendencies?
I've tried. And it kind of just went in one ear and out the other. So
yeah. But hats off to you for trying.
Yeah, narcissists are they have, as far as I've read in the research I've done, it's underdeveloped brains. They don't have the cause for empathy or self-reflection or anything like that. Wow. They are impulsive, reactive, and they don't think about anything. They just do it. It's really, really quite destructive, especially when you kind of have to live with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never talked to my father about the whole thing because, like I said yesterday, my father wouldn't let me watch wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, you did say that. Yep.
Like
Hmm.
I'm in my mid-20s and you're telling me I can't watch wrestling for
Man.
what? And I'm gonna go back to what, Law and Order. Like, how much of that is fake? Please tell me. But is it so? They make rules for everyone else, but they also believe they're above their own rules, so they'll break them regardless. Um, I did talk to my mom about it
Mm.
with the last conversation, and she actually gave me more information that I knew than I
Mm.
knew beforehand. So she knew everything what was happening, but uh, she feigned ignorance
Wow.
until I literally brought it to her attention.
Wow.
So when um when she brought out the psychological term truth teller, I was not aware that that was a role in the narcissistic hierarchy or cult, if you want to
Mm.
call it a cult. I did
Mm.
not know my part in the play. All I knew is that I didn't like whatever part was given to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. I admire both of you for stepping up and showcasing this and sharing this. This isn't easy. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm recording just in case y'all forgot, like I'm recording. And that's not to say that out of like fear or anything, but it's more so like I'm sure y'all know that we're recording, but yet y'all still are so open about these things, man. And again, it's I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can relate because I grew up with a mom who was just loving beyond measure. Dad, nah, never here. A typical Black American story. But when it comes to the mom, my mom, absolutely amazing. Hands down, 10 toes down, always here, has always been. But to think of a person who not only helped in creating you, in the birth process, they helped in creating you, but then that same person who's supposed to be the nurturer, the person that's watching over you, Elena, knowing that you are a mother, you know what I'm saying, but then your mother showcasing those attributes that you obviously don't, it's like it's hard to even fathom. It's like, what the heck? Like, so that's why it baffles me when you both, the same with you, Isaac, your father, the man who you were supposed to look up to and want to be like those people being the narcissistic people in your lives, man, that baffles me. And again, but to have you both showcase that and share that on here on our Zoom call on our poetry night, that I admire you both so much for that strength. Absolutely.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if I'd consider it strength in my opinion. I could be wrong about it, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's more of like a necessity. So
Mm.
if I am as selfless as I think I am or claim to be, I'm selfish in ways too. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not take myself out of context. But if Elena or I don't speak up about it and other
Mm-hmm.
people don't speak about it, it's just going to be a worse situation.
Yeah.
And I know you can't relate to it, but Elena knows when I say if when you grow up in that, it
Mm-hmm.
is such a stressful,
Mm.
such a stressful environment. I don't, I, I applaud anybody who makes it out of that
Mm.
situation because the stress and the expectations on you are just at an all-time high. You can't even be your own person. The narcissist,
Mm.
the narcissist doesn't even think of you as your own person, just an extension of your of themselves. So my father never thought of me as his son. He just thought of me as a plaything to use and abuse whenever he wanted to.
Wow. Wow.
Whenever he got a couple drinks in, he would come out and yell and scream at me about anything, everything, the same thing, something different. It didn't matter. He just wanted to yell at somebody to release his anger and get a reaction out of me. He didn't
Mm.
care as long as I gave him what they call a narcissistic supply.
What the heck? Wow. Man, you remind me of this poet, Charles Bukowski. He's actually a poet I've quoted many times on my my platform. He talks about how his father used to make him cut the grass, and then his father would put his face against the grass and look out throughout the grass and try to find if there was like at least one strand of grass that was not cut. And if he found that one strand, he would take him in the bathroom and like just whip him with something, like cut his legs or something like that. And he would just do that, and he pretty much endured that all of his childhood. So again, that kind of sounds like what we're talking about. That person that just looks for the itty bitty imperfections of you to just poke at. And that I can't even imagine living underneath that stress. So I admire you both. I do.
It takes years from like I can only imagine for you, Isaac, but like it's taken me years to even figure out who I am because of I was made to be this image and only supposed to be this image and play this part in my life that, when I finally broke from that, like I was like, who the heck am I? Who am I? What am I supposed to do in life? Like, what am I even here for? It was tough breaking out of that. Even like, realizing what was put into my mind that wasn't actually mine to hold on to.
Yeah.
Yeah, might I take a quote from a WWE, and obviously it has serious tones, but it's more for a joke. When The Rock goes, "Know your role and shut your mouth." That's exactly what I'm part of.
Wow. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Don't hold back, man. Say anything you want to say. You're next, Elena, but anything you guys wanted to say before we move on?
Well, yeah, and I think I have one more thing. Or I think I did. Let's see. Yeah, for me, like, even when I wrote the book, I don't know if I like told you guys about it the first time I was the first Zoom call we had, but even when I was writing my book, they told me to like read it over and over and over again to make sure there's like no grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes or anything like that. Like I took extra months to get that done because every time I read the book myself, I would cry. I would get overly emotional. I mean, after I wrote the poems I did related to that, I couldn't read them again for the longest time because it still, even when I expressed it in such detail, it was still so surreal. It's like, did I really live that or did I make it all up? I can't ever completely tell because that's the power of um, manipulating you and gaslighting you and making you feel crazy. It has that effect. So I think no matter how much I talk about all of this stuff that I've gone through, I don't know if I'll ever 100% be convinced that I actually went through it because that's how much of a hold that has on me.
Yeah.
Just realize that that's your truth and your truth to hold to, no matter if you believe that it's what you truly went through or not. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you felt, that's how you lived it, and that's your truth to hold on to.
Yeah, I also believe that a lot of the stuff that I've looked into I can relate to, and when I express my experiences with NPD to other people to help them be more aware of it and to help counteract that, a lot of people receive it positively and appreciate my help and share my answers. So I think me seeing that other people take my advice and my words into action and actually see a difference in outcome, a more positive outcome, I think that gives me enough to go, well, even if I'm never 100% sure that it happened to me, I know that right now my cause is to spread awareness of it regardless of whether it has happened to me or not. Because I know so much.
Absolutely. Man, we got to keep going. We we only done one poem. Come on, Elena. Come on.
All right. I think I'm gonna go with
We see you
Yeah.
passing all. We see you passing all of them up. We.
This one is a little deep.
Okay.
So this one is called, I don't know how to say the word correctly, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
Um, Thalassophobia,
Okay.
which is the fear of things that you can't see.
Wow.
Like when people are scared of the ocean because they can't see what's under the water.
Yeah. Wow.
Um, so that's the title of it.
Hmm.
Hold on, let me breathe.
Hey, take your time. Take your time. I love these. I love this.
Okay. I was floating in an ocean of innocence, with waves of joy and everlasting peace. There was something in the water pulling at my legs. It crawled inside me, and to my despair, a part of me died that day. I was reborn into a new life of chaos and torture, everlasting pain and misfortune, a life where I couldn't trust anything I couldn't see, anything that wasn't right in front of me. I can stare at the ocean, admire the waves from the pier, but as I step into the water, I'm overcome with fear.
Mm.
The less I see beneath me, and this fear starts to suffocate me. Save me from the presence that creeps in the water, the creature that lurks beneath me. I was floating in an ocean of innocence, but that creature stole it from me. I call it the thief of all things innocent that dwells in the sea. Be careful of what might be swimming beneath your feet. And that I wrote about my first experience, or my first traumatic event that happened to me.
Hmm.
With I was 3 years old,
Hmm.
and I was taking a bath, and that
Hmm.
was the first time that my father put his hands on me
Hmm.
um, and molested me. So
Hmm.
that, and it just made me feel like I couldn't trust
Hmm.
anything, that I didn't know what was going on, uh,
Hmm.
like outside of my view. Like if I can't see
Hmm.
what's happening, I don't trust it.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so that came from thinking about that time in my life,
Yeah.
and thinking about, how it relates to my fears and like what I go through now.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I love the ocean. I love the ocean. I could
Hmm.
all day long. I could walk along the shore collecting shells.
Hmm.
I love the ocean. As soon as I step in that water, though,
Hmm.
it's I'm like trembling with fear.
Really? So it's still to this day.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Do you feel like it'll ever that fear will ever leave?
Um, I don't know, cause I try to overcome it. Like I'll go swimming in the ocean,
Yeah.
uh, but then as soon as like something touches my foot, I'm freaking out and like running
Hmm.
out of the water.
Yeah. 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 Man. First off, like let's definitely give you your snaps. That to read a poem like that, you know what I'm saying? Was that an old one?
That was a really old one, actually.
Can you please give us the year? Please. I just want to know.
20, I think it said 2018.
Wow. Wow. You were man, yeah. Poetry is in you. That's a long time ago. For you to
Mhm.
have those deep words, even now, even then, and knowing you now, man, I just want to say how much I admire your boldness to read that. You know what I'm saying? To read that is not easy. To share, let alone read your poetry on that, but to share that experience, that's not easy. That's not an easy thing to share. Um, man, I'm truly awestruck. You know what I'm saying? Because you make me want to share things. There's a few things. There's one thing I would love to share, but I don't know if I'm ready. But to hear you and to hear how you what you're how bold you're showcasing this, it's like wow. Like seriously, I admire you, Elena.